I think a lot of people don't understand how basic they can really start improving on their lives and how simple they can make these improvements at the beginning. What I mean by that is when you start something, say you want to change a bad habit or create a good habit, and you notice that you always find yourself not sticking to it. You find it hard to either find motivation or stay consistent, stay disciplined with what you're trying to do. And it can be a number of reasons, but one of the reasons I'm going to talk about today is about the simplicity of and how basic you can start your improvement. So think about when when you want to start something, or you could even relate it to a show, for instance. Like a lot of people nowadays, they have short attention spans. They find it hard to concentrate for long periods of time due to all social media and all that stuff. So to find a way to combat this I guess weakness that I have, everyone kind of is building. Start very small. So for the example today, I can you can bring this with a lot of different sports, gym, uh, a hobby you want to pick up. But today I'm just gonna mainly bring up is the gym. So if you're one type of person who's find it hard to you really want to do it, you know it's good for you, but you find it hard to stay with it, and you keep finding yourself giving up. Try next time starting with something so simple and basic, like the win, the satisfaction that you get is simply showing up to the gym. Then once you're there, you don't have to go like for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and take every set to failure at the beginning. Go there, show up. The first thing is like you can make it as simple as showing up. Show up, and then once you're there, you can't really just leave, right? You're spending money. You took the time to get there out of your day, so you might as well do a couple of exercises. You could do them to mild discomfort, just to feel it out, the weight, the amount of like time and energy you exert into each exercise. And then when you come back that day, you're going to be like, okay, instead of me just sitting my ass at home, I was at least able to get myself there. And then on top of the simple goal of getting yourself there, you're able to get accustomed to the feeling of being there, to the people around you, the vibe you get from being there. And that alone is going to set you up for way greater success in the long run than having to start there and the first day you try and kill yourself in there. So think about that next time when you're trying to start some type of new good habit or hobby or progress to get better. Start very small and basic. And this can be included in a ton of different situations and hobbies. I feel like a good one to easily comprehend is reading, because with reading it's as simple as reading a couple words. Like I personally don't stay consistent or read that much, but it's a good way to picture how starting reading is as simple as reading one sentence. You've already made progress with that. And then once you've read one, you might as well your brain is gonna be like, okay, I might as well read a couple more, right? And it's the same way with a hobby or a good habit like the gym. If you start one time at a small rate, you're like, okay, I got this. Let's do more. And it's the same philosophy, same way of thinking with every type of hobby or good habit you're trying to start. And then back to the reading analogy, when you read, maybe you read one page, you're like, okay, I was able to do that. Let's read a couple more. Then when you get hooked onto that, okay, this rising climb, instead of you immediately jump into the fire, you find yourself already making small steps instead of having to make a big jump after big jump after big jump. And now you're wondering, like, I'm not making any progress after this long, and I have to keep waiting to do it over and over again. So make sure to start small, simple, and this way you'll be able to go further in the long run than overall quitting because you think it might be too big of a jump each time. When you do this, it's like you see all those motivational TikToks that take small steps instead of big jumps, and you end up further. You hear the story of like all the tortoise race, all that. Like it's created and expressed by somebody for a reason, to show that it's very possible for you to not be the best, for not to be the fastest, for you not to be the number one, to be able to make those big jumps, but instead be able to consistently, the person who's going to consistently work hard is always going to be the person who has the natural talent or has the ability to make random big jumps in progress, because you're going to be able to look at back and be, okay, I made this, I did this, and you just stacked your, almost like a fortress, you stacked your own type of mentality and discipline to make yourself stronger and stronger, instead of the other person who kind of stacked their fortress in a, you can almost say, in a weak way. Like the foundation of where they're at is significantly weaker than the foundation of where someone who stacked it brick by brick. And that's the point of starting simple, because you're going to have a stronger foundation in whatever you're trying to accomplish. And that's always going to be better than the person who doesn't do it. You can look at countless examples of, well, actually, every single, in the athletic kind of analogy, every single athlete, pro athlete in the world, you could hear all of this stuff about Messi having talent compared to Ronaldo, and that comparison of talent and hard work or whatever. But the reality is both of them have such a strong foundation of discipline and have such a strong foundation of starting simple and building it brick by brick. And they had that undying passion that they are where they are now in life. There's not a single pro athlete who made big jumps because of talent and then happened to find themselves in the position they are. Every single, like, you hear about all these talents on social media, all these prospects coming up, and majority of them fail. Majority of them fall off because of either one, they don't have that undying passion, that love for what they do, or two, they don't have that strong foundation of discipline and hard work, of small steps and starting off with a good foundation of being simple and basic that's easy to stick to. And so then they end up burning off. And that's what you got to think about in the long term, so that you know that what your method is it's correct, it's true, it works. Compare the method of starting basic and building brick by brick to every pro athlete, every successful person, because they've all done the same thing. They all follow the same manner of growth, and none of them made big jumps with their natural born talent or randomness or jumping straight into the fire. They all had to make those consistent jumps, little jumps. That's why I urge you guys, if you have anything you want to do, or you have anything that you've been trying to get better at, that you struggle to stay consistent with, next time you go to do it, next time you start that, like maybe you have something in mind that you want to start doing, do it at a very small rate at the beginning. And what you're going to notice is going to be way easier to stay consistent with that than making a big jump into it, jumping in the fire and be like, oh, I don't like this, and it's not good. So that's what I want to talk about today, energy guys. Start basic. If anything, remember that. Start basic, whatever you want to start with. And talk to you guys tomorrow.